Okay, we're live. Hey, three, two, one. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 185, the Security Now podcast. Security Now podcast. I'm going to stop that. Let's do that again.
All right.
Okay. Three, two, one. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 185 of Security on the In30 Network. We got a good show for you today. We got three stories that we'll just go right into. The first one, Brian Krebs talks about Google. He did some research that Google, with its 85,000 employees, has not been phished since they deployed the U2F protocol, the security keys. So that would be Yubico or anybody who uses the U2F standard. And we talked about YubiKeys before, and we talked about how awesome they are. But they're basically saying that they required this of all the Googlers and no phishing or no successful phishing. So you want to talk?
I tried to find the mute button and I clicked the wrong thing, and that was not my microphone. Podcasting is hard, folks. But yeah, it turns out that after Google's rollout of the U2F protocol for their internal sites, not one successful phish of any of their employees, and they're employing YubiKeys with U2F. I gotta say, I've been using U2F for a lot of my logins. I've been using some of the new YubiKeys for a lot of my stuff, and it's fantastic. Not only is it more secure than using TOTP codes, or especially more secure than like emailed or texted one-time codes, it's also way lazier. So on one of my machines, I'll reach over, try to log into a site, log in with my password. It's like, oh, cool. Hit that YubiKey for me. And I'll just reach over, slap the side of the machine where the YubiKey is, somehow like brush up against the button and hit it. And it just logs me in. It just works. It actually uses the browser. It uses the domain name to make sure that it's logging into the proper thing. It generates a code based on the browser's domain. U2F is a really superior second factor. Not only is it more secure, it's also lazier.
So we spoke to the YubiKey people way long ago, and they this is right before U2F went live, the FIDO Alliance or whatever it is. And we were talking about it in the idea that it was two-factor and it was for LastPass. Since then, a lot of websites have added their ability to support YubiKeys and other U2F, and it's an open standard. Our crypto badge from the Crypto Village a few years ago, we never got it enabled, but the idea was that you can stick it into a computer. It was USB and with a wire, and you can have a U2F compliant code from your badge. And I think we tried doing that last year. I don't remember how it worked. I'm not a badge person, so we have to talk to those people. But I have them. I think they're awesome. The hardest part is I never allow it to trust the device. So I'm sitting on my couch and Chrome needs to restart, and I want to get into LastPass, and my keys are in the little cup holder. So now I got to get up and figure this out.
Yeah, so a lot of people like the YubiKey Nanos. I think they're great. As long as you understand the risk profile, right? If somebody walks away with your laptop, your Chromebook with the YubiKey, you have given away your second factor, right? That's annoying. So the only thing they need to compromise your account then is just your password. That said, if what you're worried about, if what you're guarding against is over the internet attacks, if you're guarding against somebody super far away remotely logging into one of your accounts, having a YubiKey Nano just stuck into the side of the laptop permanently, I think it's a fine solution. It's all about your risk profile and what kinds of risks you're willing to live with, right? Like walking over and grabbing your keys from the little bowl by the front door, that can be absolutely unacceptable for some people. I totally get it. So pick up the YubiKey Nano and throw that thing in. It'll live there forever.
It's on my desktop, my iMac. I have that because it's not going anywhere.
And if somebody, breaks into your house and walks away with your iMac to phish you, you probably have bigger problems.
Absolutely. And so I had that because we were given that and then I have one on my keychain, and I have the one with the NFC support, which is awesome, but it's really not that useful in that case. But for my laptop, it's awesome. At school, when I try to log in, it's really good to have. And when I'm at school, obviously I have it on my keychain, and that's in my pocket. I can get it and everything else. So my problem is that people, I explain this to people and they say, well, what happens if you lose your YubiKey? And I tell them you can associate a few of them on there. Like, just don't buy one. The problem is what happens if you lose those? Like I guess that's the biggest problem.
Yeah. So you can associate backup methods, right? Now, if you only use U2F, it's definitely the safest. But if you wanted to have, a backup phone number, a backup email address, TOTP codes, like a bunch of different ways to get into your accounts, you can do that. Just know that all of these are valid ways to phish you as well as access your account. I totally agree with you, though. Get a couple of these, U2F compliant devices. I know we love the YubiKeys, but there's lots of hardware out there. It's an open standard. You can get, whatever. There are some applications, like actual Android apps, that will allow you to U2F from your phone. I have not tried them. I have not vouched for them. I do know they're out there, though. But like you said, if there are trusted places, right? Not just like a safety deposit box or, a break glass kind of, oh no, I lost my one auth method scenario. But like if you wanted to leave some in the possession of a family member, right? Give it to your mom or your brother or sister to put on their keychain. Just have them carry it around with you, or have them carry it around with them. Just have extras laying around in protected, semi-secure, semi-safe places that you can trust, so you can access your account in the event that you lose it.
Again, I think you said it perfectly in the beginning. This is usually for remote attacks, where somebody's asking you to do something, and they can spoof. Well, before that, so they're remote attacks. If they get physical access to your laptop, you have bigger problems, and we discussed that. So getting two YubiKeys and giving one to your significant other or to your friend or whatever it is, and just saying, hold this. They may not know. You may have not had it. They don't know if you authenticated with it. They just say you just told them to hold it. Now, again, obviously trust them, but don't give it to some random stranger on the street. But again, do you still need your password? Or with your systems, you still need your password?
Yes, on everything I have configured this to use, I still need a password.
Okay.
Otherwise, it becomes one factor authentication instead of two. It's a universal single factor instead of the universal second factor.
Okay. So you still need it. Okay. And we did talk about, if you lose it, go into your Google settings to find out what is the lowest common denominator, because the bad guys are just going to click don't have. I don't have my phone. I don't have my 6-digit TOTP code. I don't have my YubiKey. And if your weakest thing is answering security questions, you're in trouble.
Right. So, but yeah, I love U2F. I think it's fantastic. And it's like, I cannot stress the laziness of this second factor. It is great, especially with the YubiKey Nano. You just paw at the side of whatever computer you're on to send off the U2F signal, essentially start up the U2F authentication, and it's done. There's no looking at your phone, there's no digging in your pocket, putting in your PIN, launching an app, looking at the thing. Oh wait, I've got 2 seconds before the code changes. Now I've got to wait. Okay, now the code changed. Now I've got to type in 6 to 8 random characters into another text box. That could also be a phishing attack. U2F, it's like the very best security model, or the very best security outcome that you could possibly have for a user, which is it's more convenient and it's more secure. These are super, super rare and really, really great.
I keep on going back to my biggest problem of you're losing control of that's not I don't want to say you're losing control, but I'm trying to explain this to somebody. See, I would love our company, our organization to get this for everybody and say this. And you know what? They can keep one backup in every building. And I mean, remember, I'm a public employee, so everything I do is public record anyway. So you leave one in the main office and then you have, or you leave one with IT. But I can still see people losing this and they don't feel confident because it's that second factor where they can't recreate it. So I can put my 6-digit time code on my phone and on my iPad and on a different phone and everything else. Here, I can't do it. If I lose it, I lose it. And that's a little scary, I think, to some people.
Yeah. One thing to keep in mind, though, is especially if your company is issuing these, they have the ability to take it off your account and issue a new one, right? No company is going to say, well, Bill, you lost your YubiKey, so that's it. You can't get into your email anymore. You're basically fired. You can't get into any company systems because you lost the one little dongle we gave you. And that's not the case at all. Corporate IT will always be able to get into your accounts and reset things. But for your personal accounts, for personal Gmail, it's like any second factor, right? If you've only got your rotating 6-digit code on one phone and you throw it into a lake, it's annoying to get your account back, right? There are ways you can do it, but it's a really arduous process, or at least it should be.
It is. Well, I've never done it, but it is.
But with U2F, yeah, it's the same thing.
So for me, like I said, by the way, Facebook uses this. I know that. Google uses it.
GitHub uses it.
GitHub, AWS.
No.
But yes, well,
no, we do. So AWS does publicly support hardware multi-factor authentication, like actual physical codes that display numbers, and they've got a push button, and what they call virtual MFAs, or multi-factor devices, which is TOTP codes. Scan the QR code, it shows up on an app, those sort of things.
See, I took the approach. So again, you say you throw it into the lake. So if you are going to do two-factor, when they give you that barcode, print it out physically. Print out the barcode and the number, like physically, not PDF it, physically print it out, and then put it someplace safe. That's again, I have a backup of that, which reduces some security, but we go from there. Again, I think in a corporate environment, this is awesome. I don't know if I would tell people. I still don't recommend to a lot of people two-factor. We see it on the internet. We talk about it. Yes, use two-factor. But we can't get people to remember their passwords to get into their Gmail. To get that second factor to explain why they need it is really tough. And that's why you still get the banks doing, sending you the text message code, which we've said is insecure, but it's still better than nothing.
Yeah, and it's super easy to explain U2F to relatives, right? So for the YubiKey, all right, so when you're logging in, put in your blue key. That's your computer key. So you've got your house key and you've got a computer key. Put in your blue key and hit the glowing button. That's it. It's as easy as that. It's not load up your phone and go to a weird app that they would never go to and then plug in some digits and hope for the best. It's really great.
I'm gonna see how much they cost for the Google one. I think is $18, and it's the same one for GitHub and everything else.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. Yubico security key, U2F and FIDO2, USB-A two-factor authentication, $20. You can get crazy. You can buy a YubiKey Neo that does all this stuff for $50. YubiKey 4, which has a lot of extra security goodness, is $40. YubiKey 4 Nano, which does U2F, is $50.
What's the most expensive one? Let's see.
I want to say the most expensive is this $50 Nano or the $50 Neo.
I mean, like I said, I have the Neo, but now I have a phone with USB-C. And if you're on the Max, you have a USB-C also. So you need the USB-C one, or you need to connect it to a hub. But anyway, There are a whole bunch of this. And I remember putting in the WhatsApp chat months ago, my brother-in-law found this weird no-name imported company that had 6 different little copper slots. One was YubiKey, one, and then you had 5 other static type passwords that you can do. And so he sticks that in, and the first spot was his YubiKey, the second spot was his work password, the third one was this, and it looked really, really rough around the edges. It wasn't done yet. It basically was a Kickstarter and not done yet, but it worked. He showed it to me working, and I said I still don't trust it, but he swears by it.
Yeah, there are a lot of hacked together products. With any security advice we give on this show, one of the things that we like to repeat is, look, not to denigrate open source or homemade projects, but YubiKeys are big and trusted by giant tech companies that know what they're doing for a reason, right? There's absolutely a reason Google partnered with Yubico and gave YubiKeys to all their employees.
Because I live near New York City, I've been to Google New York City. They literally have a vending machine where you go in and you say, I need a YubiKey, and you push like A4 and the YubiKey pops out. And I thought that was fun. The biggest problem was the expense. And if you use LastPass, LastPass with the YubiKey is part of now LastPass Premium, which is kind of annoying. That if you want this, you need the premium version. But you know what? For that, you can use your 6-digit code. Again, if you want more, you're going to pay for it. But for $17, you can get the cheap one. Google will work with it. I think, like I said, I think Facebook will work with it. GitHub will work with it. And a lot more companies are coming out with it to work with it. So,
yeah, and this might be a moment where we eat our words several years down the line, which has happened a few times on this show. But I really do believe that U2F is going to be the future of two-factor authentication. It's just brain dead simple, right? As much as we hate taking up yet another USB port and plugging yet another thing into our computers, this is, in my mind, one of the best solutions that's both convenient and really, really secure. It's really well made.
Let me ask this. So let's say you're getting a phishing attempt, and it says email. You see the Google login. You log in with your password. Now it says push the button, and you push the button. Can they spoof the dialog box?
No.
Okay.
So the reason is when they try to do this, and I'm trying to find the actual language that they use. Cannot find that word domain on here.
I mean, can you walk up to it, like you said, a different terminal at work and not take out your YubiKey, but just tap the one that's in there? Or do you have to put yours?
So to log in, so it is account bound, right? So they do store a public key associated with your specific YubiKey. It can't just be anything like, oh, hey, a YubiKey exists. You can log in with it. Your YubiKey is bound to your account. So for Google, you can't just, for logging into a Gmail account, you can't just plug in any random YubiKey off the street. It has to be associated first.
Well, not anyone off the street, but anyone in the company.
No, they are per account bound.
Because I'm thinking, like at school, like and school is not the best place for it. But let's say you like an actual place of employment where people are, you don't have to worry about internal hacks, but it's plugged in, and then you can just walk up to anyone. You type your password in, and you just push the button. That may be the lesser. That may be a big compromise that you can achieve, because here you go. You walk up there. You don't have to remember, oh, I left my keys on my desk. I have to go back and get it, type thing. But
right. So the way that this becomes way, way, way harder to phish out of people is that the U2F protocol essentially uses public key cryptography to create a key pair associated with each website individually. So if you had like superbadguys.org or whatever, right? If you had some weird phishing website masquerading as Google or PayPal or whatever, they would send you they would send your browser a U2F challenge, right? But it wouldn't come from Google or PayPal. It wouldn't come from the proper domain. So sure, you'd send off authentication, but you'd send off the signed challenge for whatever phishing domain they sent it from, right? You wouldn't be sending it off to Google or PayPal. So even if you did get dialog boxes popping up that purport to be from Facebook, Google, PayPal, whatever, you're still not going to be giving them anything that they can use. You're going to be giving them a U2F challenge from their own domain name.
Now, this would have been a perfect segue into our next topic, but I don't want to do that yet. I think I've accidentally tweeted my YubiKey one-time code.
Oh, it happens.
Definitely slacked. Definitely in Slack, definitely in WhatsApp, definitely Google searched.
I have Google searched my YubiKey long code before.
So it is funny, and then people in the know see it and say, hey, you're logging in somewhere. Anyway, we're going to skip that story for right now when we talk about tweets, and we want to talk about, we said this, the Russia indictment. So this is not political. We are not getting political. We're just going by what the special counsel indicted 12 Russian, I guess, GRU hackers for. And it's a long thing. But if you go through it, you find out that the 3-letter agencies that were spying on these people. So I'm guessing it's the CIA. I think the CIA does that.
However, no idea.
However they were getting it, they basically... It was so, I mean, they were so into their systems, they were able to see keystrokes. They basically were like a camera right behind the person watching them do every move. And so when you see this indictment and you say, oh, it's political, it's this, it's that. If you go through it, they're saying, we know that there's a server in Arizona. We know their names. We know their accounts. We know the day they access these things. We know where they accessed it from. We can tell you the MAC, and they can tell you the MAC address of the keyboard. So when they say that, oh, we don't know, they do know, and they know a lot. And they knew when the cookies weren't cleared. They knew from point A to point B to point C, exactly how everything was done. And I mean, on one hand, I call this good police work. On the other hand, it is scary how much they know and we were discussing this in the WhatsApp group. These are state level spies. This is the state level US attacking state level Russia and the hacking the spies, not you and me, but actual people who do this for a living and know what's capable and how to prevent it.
Yeah, really. Honestly, this is just impressive. Sure, on one hand, absolutely terrifying, but on the other hand, super impressive police work or spy work or whatever you want to call this. But yeah, like you were saying, they knew everything. It's not like, hey, they owned one guy's box. It was they literally knew everything. They said, okay, these like 6 people were on these domain names, and they went to this translation service to get this thing translated. But then they saw that it was a little weird the way the English was worded, so they went to this website to get common English phrases to make it look like it was coming from not only this part or the United States, but this part of the United States. And then they planted it here through this server, through these proxies, through these back doors. Like, they had everything. They had live video surveillance at one point of these people in a secret room that was undisclosed and unannounced at a black site somewhere. Like, they had literally everything on these people. It was absolutely insane. Like, when you watch spy movies and like the bad guy spies or the good guy spies like know everything about their target, it was that, but even more impressive. Seriously, look up these indictments just for, not even for the political stuff, right? Just purely based on technical merit, this is super, super impressive and utterly petrifying. You don't get this type of detail about your targets without severe dragnet surveillance at every single step of the way. Like we said in the WhatsApp group, which you should totally join, this does further cement the idea that if you are, being watched by a state level actor, right? If a state level actor wants to get at you or your data, there is literally nothing you can do, right? You can shut off all of your computers and hide under a rock. They are going to find you.
We talked about how Bitcoin is semi-anonymous. Here, they were able to. I mean, they just didn't move. It says $95,000 in Bitcoin. They did it through different currencies that were all semi-anonymous, and we were able to figure out, trace it back and forth.
Yeah, it's super impressive. Now, again, you're gonna have the conspiracy theories of, well, do we actually know this? Maybe this is a false flag attempt to get us to fear the powers that be, so we can't fight against them. Okay, all right. Look, conspiracy theories aside, what they did and everything they did do, nothing is technically infeasible here. I don't, reading this stuff, I didn't see any like tall tales or what looked like overt propaganda. It might be, who knows? We couldn't tell. If propaganda is done well, you're not going to be able to tell it's propaganda, right? But all of the things that they were saying, they would have had technical access to. It would have been technically feasible for them to pull off.
So basically what we're getting at is the GRU are really, really good spies. And the US we have an unlimited budget, and we are really, really good spies. So your threat model, if you're the GRU and you're trying to influence an election, or you're the FBI and you're trying to catch somebody, you know what's going on. You know how these tools work. You know how to hide and do all these things around. You know to use Signal. You know to use Tor. You know how to do things. But when it's all said and done, one misstep causes a lot of problems, and I guess they leveraged it. But it's also a little scary on the other end that, like what Tom said, is if the FBI is going after you, it doesn't matter how, I mean, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Unfortunately, you're going to mess up at some level, and that's a little scary.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about this in our red team and blue team examples all the time, right? The attacking side, they only have to win once. The defenders have to play an absolutely perfect game, or the company gets owned.
So it's and then this goes back to, and so this ends up going back to, so why does the FBI need to unlock a cell phone if they have this level access remotely from wherever it is? And that's another issue that was brought up. How come the police say we need this to do this? And the example that was given, and I'll explain in a second, was you have this 4K monitor with 2 dead pixels, and you're really mad about those 2 dead pixels, and you just really want them. And so when we hear about security, the FBI wants to get into your phone, or the police, they probably already have everything else that they need because you've messed up somewhere else, type thing. And so on the one hand, when you're fighting, when you're on the good side, you want all these tools. When you're on the receiving end, you want your privacy. So we'll leave it there.
Yeah. I mean, in any case, read up on this stuff. Super impressive technically.
So in the show notes, we always reference a podcast called Security Now. It's a great podcast if you have the time to listen to it. They're marathon sessions of over 2 hours. So I put the one that we're referencing in. Start at minute 90. So if you start at minute 90, it's about half an hour. You can probably do it on double speed. You can listen and you'll see what we're talking about, where Steve Gibson goes through everything, reads it to you and explains it and goes into incredible detail. So
yeah, it's worth a listen.
So the last thing we wanted to talk about is Tom. Well, why don't Tom can do this, because he did a cool thing the other day, and we're still talking about it.
So I think we've got a minute and a half left. Do we want to jump in now, or do we want to give a teaser and then jump into this next week on Security in 30?
I say we do it next week, because then we'll have to stop for 2 weeks because I'll be at DEF CON. So
what's a great way to clear your Twitter profile? To remove all of your tweets without actually deleting your profile because you registered your name forever ago and you really like it. So next time on Security in 30, we'll walk you through how to delete each and every one of your tweets without manually clicking.
That sounds like a great teaser. Or you can contact us in the WhatsApp group and we'll tell you how to do it faster.
Yeah, we'll just tell you.
Okay.
Warning, if you delete all your tweets, you are deleting all your tweets. So only delete all your tweets if you really want to delete all your tweets.
So, okay, everybody, we're going to end there and we'll continue with this next week. Bye.
See you, everyone.
Stop.